Welcome. This week we are covering the last two clusters of first grade. We're covering measurement and data and then the geometry standards. So starting with measurement and data, students will need to measure lengths indirectly and by iterating length units, tell and write time, and represent and interpret data. Some common manipulatives, we're still going to use those non-standard measurement tools that we used in kindergarten. We need objects to measure, perhaps number cards, analog and digital clocks, whiteboards, markers, dollar bills, coins, anything that we can grasp our hands on. So from the shapes provided, order the squares from shortest to tallest. So I see I have an assortment of circles, rectangles, squares, triangles, and some of them are all shaped a little differently as they are turned on their side or rotated a little bit. So let's first start by identifying from the shapes provided, just grab the squares from that list. So I screenshot and took just the squares. And perhaps our intuition has already put them in order from shortest to tallest, but we can use snaps to put them together. So I just put a few snaps together using a virtual manipulative and then copied and pasted them into our PowerPoint here. So I think I have way too many, but you can see if we start from the shortest square that it's not even one snap tall. So if I compare that to the second one here, I see that it is slightly more than the yellow square. So it's going in order. If I move next to the green one is almost as tall as one snap. So it's definitely taller than the red one and most definitely taller than the yellow one. And then finally, if I compare the blue square, which is one full snap, that is more than the green snap or the green square, how tall the green square was compared to the snap. So we have put them in order. So let's get hands-on literally. So part of your homework assignment is going to be working on estimation and actual measuring using non-standard units of measurement to expand our knowledge from kindergarten. So some things that you're going to need, a paper clip or a bunch of paper clips, a pencil, a book, and your hands. So you're going to print out the worksheet located in the assignment Measure Me. Find a friend to help you with this activity. So you're going to first estimate before you do any measuring at all. And I'm going to show you here what the worksheet looks like. So this is what your worksheet looks like. You're going to estimate how many paper clips you are tall, how many pencils you are tall, how many books you are tall, and how many hands you are tall. And then you're actually going to have that helper help measure how tall you are versus each individual unit. And then tell me how many you actually were. Finally, you're going to make a statement based on some observations. So scan and upload your document into the appropriate location. And what I mean by answer a question is towards the bottom of the worksheet here. I ask you to take a look at your measurements and fill in the blanks of the statement. The blank units will be needed to measure the object. So we're making a formal observation based on what you've noticed about measuring with tiny units or larger units. And it's one of the most important aspects of measurement in first grade for this particular class. Continuing with measurement, let's say we have the following two sentence strips. How many bears long is each sentence strip? So I have the sentence strip, the cat could nap, and the dog sits on a rug. So I grabbed some of my bears from the virtual manipulatives and copied and pasted them here. And I see that it takes 3 bears to complete the cat can nap. And it looks like 4 bears to complete the dog sits on a rug. How long will the two different sentence strips be together if they are laid end to end? So if I were to take my bears and line them up, the sentence strips should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bears long if I lay the sentence strips together end to end. And sure enough, they match. Let's write an equation to represent our work. So we see that we had 3 bears plus 4 bears equals 7 bears. The ability for students to read both an analog and digital clock to tell and write time is important in first grade. Further, students need to be able to use the correct vocabulary. So you're going to watch the Cluck O'Clock video reading of the book, Cluck O'Clock. The link is located in the Cluck O'Clock discussion board to watch this video. Then create and share 3 different math centers themed around this book. Each math center should focus on one of each: vocabulary, writing time from analog, and writing time in digital. So 3 different centers, 3 different focuses, all themed around the book. Centers should use both hours and half hours. These activities should be ready to use. So make sure all directions and items are included in your math center. Respond to 2 of your classmates' ideas, make comments or suggestions what you might do. In any case, what I mean by making sure they are also ready to use is that if a classmate sees your activities, they can easily grab them or download them and they're ready to use for once they're in their own classroom. It's important to start gathering ideas and things for you to use in your own classroom as you're gearing up and going through all these different types of classes. Kind of start building a repertoire, if you will. Let's take a look at the ocean picture I have below. And I'm going to use snap cubes to count how many of each that there are. So let's start with the shark. I look at my picture and I can identify that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 sharks. So I grab my counters, my snap cubes, and I put 4 by the sharks. Now let's move on to the dolphins. It looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dolphins. So I grabbed, 6 dolphins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dolphins. So I snapped together 6 cubes and I put them where the dolphins are. Next, let's look at the octopus. I see I have only 1 octopus in the top right corner. So I only need 1 snap cube. And then the crabs. On the bottom there, I see I have 1, 2, 3, 4 crabs. So grabbing 4 snap cubes together. And there are some wonderful questions that we can ask based on this data and looking and comparing our snap cubes. So which animal has the most? So students can count and we see that there are 6 dolphins, 6 snap cubes. So the dolphins have the most items in the picture. Which has the fewest? So the animal with the fewest is the octopus, since it only has 1 snap cube. Are there any animals that are the same? Well, if I line up my crab and my sharks here, kind of put them right next to each other, I see that they are the exact same. So the shark and the crabs have the same amount. How many total animals are there? Well, if I were to count all of my cubes or all of my animals in the picture, we'll see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 animals altogether. We can even extend this into more in-depth or higher level questions such as how many more dolphins than sharks are there? So if I put these right next to each other here, I see, based on things that we learned earlier in our first grade clusters, that there are 2 more dolphins than there are sharks. Some key words that are important in this lesson are the words at most, least, more than, less than, greater than, and equal to. So describing words. Think of something you'd like to know about your friends and come up with 3 or 4 possible answers to that question, such as, how do you get to school? Bus, walk, car, or truck? Which animal do you like best? Dog, cat, bird? Which food do you like best? Pizza, spaghetti, chicken nuggets? Think of your own question. Don't copy my questions. Think of your own question and 3 or 4 possible answers to that question. You're going to then poll 20 of your friends the question and make note of their answers. Create a picture graph based on your data. Write 10 different questions you could ask a first grader to interpret from your data using key vocabulary. Include complete sentence answers to those questions. Upload your picture graph and questions answers to the picture graph homework Dropbox. By picture graph, I mean something very similar to the sharks, the dolphins, and the octopus here, except you would label, for example, pizza, chicken nuggets, or whatever the questions might be. And then under the pizza category, if you had 4 friends that liked pizza, you'd have 4 different pizza slices or 4 pictures of pizza. Or you could have 6 chicken nuggets here, whatever it might be. So use pictures instead of snap cubes.